You will expect joy, you'll expect celebrations. However, on the day of my birth, it was the opposite. I almost killed my mother, not with any weapon, of course, but my semi big head, as I come to understand. And on my eighth birthday, I heard the story. Uh, well, it was very touching for me because, as you would know, a typical 8-year-old will be boisterous. It's the day of your birthday, the 22nd of November, and you have a license to be naughty. My mother, who is a typical Yoruba woman, on this day had done something naughty, but instead of the very deliberate, swift justice that will be delivered through a knock or a slap, she was very reflective. And then I heard my father say, Mayokun. I looked back and he motioned to me, come have a seat. And then he told me about how my mother almost died on the day of my birth. For me, it was reflective and saddening. And from that day onwards, I never really had a birthday that, you would, a typical fanfare that you celebrate. For me, it was always a day of sober reflection and a day that I understood why I was named oluwamayokun. It wasn't a name affirming the circumstances of my birth, but as my father explained, it was a day affirming who they want me to be. And that is why today, as my call to action to us all, is to be a joy giver. Oluwamayokun, as I said, means God has made my joy complete. On that day, I was tossed aside. My mother was the center because she had told her husband, please take care of the children. The doctor had called my father aside saying, sir, I'm not sure she's going to make it. But my parents persevered and affirmed the reality of who they want me to be. I went to school in Lagos. I was born and bred in Lagos, St. Francis Catholic Secondary School, Lagos. And that's where I came to know a gentleman called St. Francis of Assisi. And that's where I heard the quote for the first time: it is in giving that we receive. I went to law school. I mean, I was very rebellious as a child. I am still a bit of a nonconformer. But I chose law as a profession because I wanted to be a peacemaker. I'm a dispute resolution expert by choice. So many people are trying to force me into corporate. My friend is here. I find what they do extremely boring. But I find joy in resolving disputes. I find joy in being in an atmosphere where there's peace and where people can discuss their issues without having to war and throw stones and be violent. Therefore, I became a dispute resolution expert. I also went to law school in Kano. When I was going, my mother was very pensive. Why are you going to Kano? She said. I mean, I was posted there, so I have no choice. It was at the height of Boko Haram, and everywhere was very tense. Being a Yoruba boy, it was like you're going to a war zone. But I chose to go because I felt I needed to experience other cultures and meet other people for who they were in their environment. I met my wife in Kano, thankfully. Some would say that I didn't go to law school to read the law, but to find girls and meet. I also served in Taraba, which for me was a continuation of my learning experience of the Hausa Fulani culture and all the other cultures in the north. So for me, it made me a more rounded Nigerian. I'm here in Abuja. I had worked all my life in Lagos. Work has brought me here to Abuja. And that's a synopsis of who I am. I am someone who loves to experiment, someone who loves to give joy, who loves to receive joy. So if you hear me today, if you heard anything I say, my call to action to you is to be a joy giver wherever you find yourself. Thank you for listening. That's me.